Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, an influx of building materials creates momentum in a re-roofing project in Layu. A plan to bring in skilled workers from overseas to address a serious shortage of tradesmen. And the government spends $130,000 cleaning up farm access roads. I'll be back with the details of the news in just a moment.
Do you need more cash for that home improvement? Then come to Fast Cash, where we give you more. At Fast Cash, our customers get more funds and more time to repay. But wait, can't come to us? We'll come to you, and our mobile officer will get you on your way. Small businesses, consumers, and taxi owners, Fast Cash has more for everyone. Simply call or visit any of our locations for more, smarter, faster, better. Fast Cash. Terms and conditions apply.
First up in the news, a re-roofing project in Layu is accelerating with the recent availability of building materials on the island. Idona John Baptist reports.
The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies is spearheading the works in partnership with the UNDP. The roofs of an initial 50 homes which fall under the category of majorly damaged will undergo repairs.
Well, after Hurricane Maria, we had about 80 majorly damaged roofs, and we have a disaster committee which has been engaged since then, and with the Red Cross, and we have gotten the commitment from Red Cross to retrofit and reconstruct these roofs. The project started in 2017 in October, about October 15th thereabout, but due to the lack of materials, which we had to stop, and then we started just last week Monday.
15 homes in Hillsborough Gardens, 4 at the Layu housing scheme, and 31 in the village will be covered.
The assessment was done by the disaster group of Layu and also the Layu Improvement Committee, which is basically the village council of Layu. And Mr. Lazar Charles as chairman and myself as the coordinator of the disaster group, along with Red Cross and the engineers and architects. We did the surveys on every house, every roof that was damaged. To decide which falls into the category of majorly damaged, minor damage, or destroyed.
Are you targeting all these categories?
No, we are first targeting the majorly damaged category. However, we have gotten the commitments that in future, if fundings are available, we can also tackle the destroyed homes and also those that are minorly damaged.
The entire project is estimated to be completed in 20 weeks.
They have to be informed. They have to also sign a contract with us as to that we will be coming in the next 2 days, so prepare themselves. If there is anyone in the family who is available to assist us, that is also on board. And we have a team of about 5 builders, where different categories. You have a carpenter, you have 2 skilled workers, and 2 apprentices. So we're also interested in training for the future, because we understand that there's a lack of skill on island at present in these areas. We have started to reconstruct about 10 houses so far, so 10 roofs so far, and we have engaged ourselves in doing this reconstruction according to the building codes on island, and we are doing a good job, I think, so far.
In related news, a UK engineer says the idea is to build roofs that are resilient to hurricane-force winds. Grant William Clark, a volunteer with the Red Cross Society, will assess implementation of the project.
So we've come in here to help out this community, do assessments of the houses and see those that are most vulnerable, and those that meet the criteria will be assisting to rebuild the roofs, whether that's a complete roof rebuild or just adding some brackets or some screws, etc. So we're going through initially doing the assessments of those houses to check what needs to be done in each case.
So we're not just talking about building new roofs, but we're talking about doing so with a building back better approach.
Absolutely, that's the idea, yeah.
The project is being done in keeping with the country's updated housing standards guide.
It's the hurricane brackets, so having brackets to make sure the purlins and the rafters are actually tied to each other, making sure the roofs themselves are properly bolted to the houses. Also the use of screws instead of nails, so it's quite simple things. It's the gauge of the corrugated iron sheets as well, so making sure we use a 24 gauge. Previous, I think it's a weaker corrugated iron sheet that have been used, and those lift off easily, so it's pretty basic things, and it comes at a cost, and that's why the Red Cross are head out in conjunction with all our partners as well. So that's probably the main thing, those items there. If we can sort that out for the roofs, they should stay on next time something happens. So
There'll be a final assessment upon completion of the project to ensure compliance with standards.
it's for up to us to try and check that the houses themselves meet the standards, and once that's the case, then the roofs, these new roofs, can meet the standards as well. So that's been put together with some thought, and with the hope that once these houses and these roofs meet the standards, we'll be checking those. So we've got a roof completion form at the end of the works. We come back and check the work, and we're pretty confident that hopefully if the house and the roof itself meet those standards, then it should be good to go for the next hurricane.
In other top stories now, the International Office on Migration is looking to import skilled laborers in order to combat the shortage of tradesmen in the country.
The IOM is undertaking a re-roofing project here with the aim of covering at least 900 houses by the end of June. Team leader for IOM says while the organization will offer training to those interested, a shortage of skilled tradesmen is just one of the challenges facing the organization on its quest to re-roof houses.
The first thing that everyone is suffering is to get the materials in. Buying the materials, we thought locally, but everyone is buying materials. The stocks were run out quite quickly. So we need to order, and since there are more damaged countries here in the Caribbean, basically in the whole Caribbean you can't find screws. So we really have to source quite far from Panama or Miami, or we're even talking to Australia to bring us screws. So some materials are very difficult to get by. At the moment, because we started up, we finished our first 20 roofs already. We're ready to scale up. We have the materials, we have generators, we have money, we have beneficiaries selected, but now it's labor. Carpenters, so skilled carpenters, semi-skilled, unskilled. It's very difficult because there's such a huge demand for those workers. In addition, we're the International Organization for Migration, so we're also looking abroad to see if we can temporarily migrate. And we call that labor migration, labor from countries abroad. And we're now talking to people in Trinidad and El Salvador, if they are prepared after selection that they are good and that they're nice people, that we can bring them in for 3 or maybe even longer, 3 to 6 months if others need it, to work here temporarily to boost the construction.
The IOM will be working in the northeast and the northwest of Dominica to conduct repairs on houses in 16 communities. Voegdam explained that the recipients are selected based on a needs assessment carried out by government, followed by dialogue between the IOM and community leaders.
When we have that, then we publish that in the community so that people can check, hey, am I not, if you're on there, they can complain, or they can say, hey, I think I'm eligible as well, or they say, hey, maybe you forgot my neighbor, and then finally we close it, we close the deal, and then we start repairing. Basically what we've done in collaboration with the government, all the other organizations, is that we divided the country. So every organization has its own areas, so that we don't have overlap, so that you don't have IOM with Red Cross in the same village. So IOM is working in the northeast, Woodford Hill, Marigot, Wesley, and in the northwest we're working in the strip from Montrachet, Collioure, Saint Joseph, Salisbury.
Thus far, the IOM has constructed roofs in Montrachet and Marigot. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
The University of Puerto Rico has come on board to help in the rehabilitation of Dominica's beekeeping industry. Apiculture, the technical term for beekeeping, involves the maintenance of honeybee colonies, commonly in man-made hives. Technical specialist with the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, Kent Coppell, says the institute partnered with the university in order to procure some much-needed material from Puerto Rico to help boost apiculture post-Hurricane Maria.
ICA further partnered with the University of Puerto Rico to support the rehabilitation of the apiculture industry in Dominica. The hurricane damaged over 63% of hives on the island. Furthermore, the hurricane devastated the forest species that the bees fed upon. And therefore, in collaboration with the University of Puerto Rico, we were able to procure over 100 pounds of bee protein, as well as 650 pounds of sugar, which we distributed to the beekeepers with existing colonies. So, and thus far we have been receiving positive feedback from the bee industry to recognize that the bees are responding to those supplements.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Reginald Thomas, underscored that a healthy apiculture industry leads to a vibrant agriculture industry.
Many times we forget the importance of bees in agriculture. Without bees, there's no agriculture, because you need your bees to pollinate and to get production. So again, by way of encouragement from the ministry, we'd really like to see our beekeepers continue to do the good work that they are doing in terms of producing rearing the bees so that our agriculture can continue to flourish.
And the search continues for a secure home to house juveniles who fall into problems with the law.
Consultant with the Ministry of Social Services with special assignment to coordinate the Juvenile Justice Reform Project says last year government was close to identifying a place to house troubled youth. However, Hurricane Maria struck and compounded the situation. Martin Anthony says though progress had been made in identifying a building which fit the bill, more discussions need to be had on the matter.
That has been given some attention to, I must say. At one time we were exploring, is there a school on island that can be turned in, that has not been used at the moment, which can be turned into a secure residential facility? Can consideration be given to Operation Youth Quick in projecting into the future, in turning the building at Operation Youth Quick into such a facility? So there has been discussion, but no definitive decision has been taken on that as yet.
The consultant explained that it is imperative that Dominica sources and approves a secure residential facility for minors so that the country keeps in line with international standards.
Juveniles going to the state prison together with adult prisoners, international standards-wise, is not in keeping with international standards, and also the number of conventions that have been in place through the United Nations. And the Convention of the Rights of the Child is one of them. And now we have the Child Justice Bill, which speaks to that. So that no doubt will be given consideration by government, so that instead of the court having to deal with a juvenile and having to send the juvenile to the state prison, that such a facility would be in place so that the court would have somewhere otherwise from the state prison to send a juvenile.
Anthony says a sensitization campaign is in the pipelines to bring greater awareness to the public on the changes being proposed to various bills related to child welfare and maintenance.
Before Hurricane Maria, we were just about to embark on a public sensitization drive because it was felt and Cabinet recognized the need to sensitize the public on the provisions of the bills. And then, in fact, the very week of Maria, we were about to go out in town hall meeting style to sensitize the public. Now what we are going to, the plan is to resume the public sensitization but with a different format, more using the media houses for public sensitization on the bills, because the provisions of those bills, in many instances, those provisions are new.
Dominica is among 6 OECS territories implementing the Juvenile Justice Reform Project. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
You're watching Channel 5 News. Farm access roads are being cleared up. We'll tell you who is behind this project coming up.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fenced pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Thank you for staying with us. The Ministry of Agriculture has made available $130,000 to restore farm access roads across the country. Channel 5 News spoke to one farmer who owns 10 acres of land in Opitor in the heights of Solihull. He is currently growing vegetables on 2 acres.
I'm very elated about that activity because to me that is part of, that is one of the most important thing government initiative government has undertaken for farmers. I mean, apart from the financial assistance, helping farmers really like clear out their blocked access roads so as they could have really like free access. That is a major development, for farmers, because without that, you cannot access your farm.
Antoine says farmers' earnings have dropped since Hurricane Maria, and that makes it harder to hire an excavator or backhoe to help clear up access to their farms.
So government stepping into that field, really, it makes it really much easier. It's like it removes really a burden out of on our shoulder, weight out of our shoulder. So we are very pleased. Me in particular is very pleased really for that initiative.
But you have other challenges. You now having to carry water on your farm, but hopefully you can excavate or perhaps recover your water source on the farm.
Well, yes, because one of the problems I'm facing right now is that Tropical Storm Erica did affect my irrigation system. Because as you can see, over there where the backhoe excavator is clearing, I had a complete irrigation system, a dam system, well set up with water. I built a concrete dam and a catchment area where I was collecting water coming down to my farm and to my house, my farmhouse, and a complete water system. And from there, I would be pumping water to the higher areas where I would have been doing my farming. But Hurricane Erica did disturb that system. It washed out many of the pipe works, it blocked the dam, and then I didn't get a chance to do it. But then now Hurricane Maria came and it completely mashed it up. So I have a complete rehabilitation to do, in the future. But the excavator will be clearing most of the blocked areas for me. And that will help me quite a lot, because without that machinery, it's just impossible really, for manpower to undertake that initiative.
Meantime, restoring access to farms cut off by Hurricane Maria remains a priority for government. Channel 5 News spoke with Special Projects Coordinator in the Ministry of Agriculture, Nichols Esprit, in the heights of Solihull on Wednesday. Esprit was on hand for the clearing of a landslide which blocked a farm access road and buried an irrigation system.
We're in the process of removing that slide so he can re-establish his irrigation and gain full access to his farm. So he can even gain more productivity because he has full access to his land and his road.
Do you have any idea of how many other farmers are going to be benefiting from this project?
Well, we've started in the central agricultural region, and we did all the roads in the Layu area, Niba, Chapara, Krong, Atli, and so on. So all these farmers benefited. Then we did some work in the Makushu area. We did some work for a particular farmer, and then we did a bypass on the road in Makushu, albeit temporary. And we have to go back there so that the farmers of Gomon, Makushu area can gain full access. We've done some work in Monrachet Heights, where there are some slides blocking off access to some farmers' holding. We cleared that for them so they can now fully access their farm again. And we are now in Collioure Heights, and we will move from where we are to another area called Mont Blanc, where we will work for at least 11 or so farmers. The area that we have to clear some slides would create access for 11 farmers.
Part of the work done on these farms include the construction of platforms for greenhouses. Farmers in Grand Bay, Belvis-Chopin, Pichler and Roseau Valley will receive similar assistance in restoring their farm access roads.
The plan is to create that access to them so they can carry their input to their farm much easier, and they can harvest their crops and their produce much easier and put it right on their farm, on their vehicle, and take it to their point of distribution. It is done free of charge in the first instance because we understand the magnitude of the work since Hurricane Maria. All of us know what Maria did to every single sector in Dominica, but as the agricultural sector was very much badly hit, and we in the ministry has embarked in assisting the farmers through the excavator, and in some cases where we need to get trucks. So you saw a truck here. It's also hired by the Ministry of Agriculture to carry out the material. But in many cases, because we are in what we call garden, we are able to clear the slides without the use of a truck, because we would put it on the other side of the road where there's no, and it wouldn't create any difficulty. But in the case of this farmer here, we have to truck out the material so he can get access back to his irrigation.
Esprit says in the absence of proper access roads, farmers resort to carrying their produce on foot, a practice which impacts negatively on the quality of their produce. This is Channel 5 News. Kenny Williams is next with your sports highlights.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth or call 445-5001-275-5003 today.
First up in sports, West Indies women suffered an opening defeat in their first T20 international against New Zealand on Wednesday. Sent into bat, New Zealand scored 167 for 6 in their 20 overs. Katie Martin added 54 and Susie Bates 49. Deandra Dottin took 2 wickets for 23 runs for West Indies. Set 168 to win, the Windies were only able to score 159 for 6 in their 20 overs. However, Hayley Matthews contributed a well-deserved 53, while captain Stephanie Taylor was undefeated on 51. Leigh Casperk took 3 for 35 for New Zealand. The Zealanders led the series 1-0. The next T20 international is carded for Friday. Next up, the football associations of Dominica and Ireland expected to work together to help improve the local football product soon. This according to DFA President Glenn Etienne, who says a recent trip to Miami opened the doors for added opportunities for the sport.
My recent visit to Miami, we had some time to talk with persons from Ireland, and they are looking also to help us in this development. I mean, what we propose to them is some of our coaches from Dominica going over to Europe, to UEFA, that we could maybe spend 5-6 months there instead of maybe one person from UEFA coming and spend 1 week. We figure we go over for a period of time that will benefit us. And they were very receptive to that idea. So I just believe it's a matter of time for us to start the communication with them. And they even want to adopt Dominica, so that's maybe good news for Dominica that Island Football Association want to adopt us until so that can just utter well for us.
Moving on to school sports, where coach of Dominica State College says it was a must-win situation in their game against Casabruce Secondary on Tuesday. DSC and CBSS were the same teams in last year's final, where CBSS won. However, DSC beat CBSS 3-2 to win this year's championship.
Well, the feeling is awesome. It was the same finals from last year, just a different result. Obviously, the girls came out there to win, and 3 in a row for me right now. I'm looking for my 4th today. The ladies realize that if we win, we'll be sad, and if they lose, they would be sad, and they realize who was their saddest player on the side, and they just attack that player.
Meantime, CBS's coach believes poor communication and a lack of experience on the court cost them the match.
I think where college got the edge of us, I think it was experience, definitely experience, as we have an older set of girls, all of them in their adolescence, but you know, girls are very emotional, especially as they're going through that crisis of adolescence. I think that's what causes the championship today. I think the girls, that the competition get the better of them, and they let their attitude, their personalities get the better of them. The server who started in the final set was a past student for over hours at the Castleville Secondary, and she's a very good server. I think she took like 4 points on the service line in the starting of the final set, which give us a little gap there.
Taking a look at the male final, where Portsmouth Secondary dethroned DSC in a 3-2 defeat, PSS captain Corbin Paul says the win against the defending champions was a confidence booster.
It feels great, my heart is beating. Oh my God, my team did well. Yeah, and I'm just happy that we won. It was obvious that we would win because last year they beat us 3-0 and we came back for the championship. We had no fear in our hearts.
While Paul thought the win against DSC was clear-cut, DSC captain says poor execution on the court cost them the game.
The players were a bit scared as it was the finals, but we still came out, we gave it our best, but PSS had a better game. They won in the end because of our lack of communication. We were confused on the court and having issues with our rotation, but we only got through with it till later on, but it was too late at the end.
Finally, in Domino, we can tell you that there were wins for a number of teams in the first round of the Guinea's 400 domino competition recently. In Zone A, 007 beat Tremors. Scores 007 3028, Tremors 2884. Remix defeated Dolphins. Scores Remix 3018, Dolphins 2629. Golden Arms went past Giants. Scores Golden Arms 3000, Giants 2433. In Zone B, Lindomart Homeboys 3013, Strikers 2549, Rebels 3008, Bay Boys 2207. Metrics 3002, Swansea 2467. In Zone C, non-players 3026, Laplane 2556, Baghdad 3060, Firkus 2558, and Warriors handed Strikers one of the worst defeats in the competition to date, 1,030 points. Scores Warriors 3,015, Strikers 1,784. In Zone D, Dangerous Public Enemies 3,004, Skills 2,398, Valiants 3,028, Runners Boys 2,742, Layu 3,021, Taru 2,751. Finally, in Zone E, Wake Up Stars 3,002, Roadblock 2,379. Rockers destroyed Stars. Scores Rockers 3,005, Stars 2,182. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Be sure to join us next time.
There are signs everywhere. Pay attention whether you're male or female. Visit your health center to get screened. It's a preliminary test to determine if you are exposed to the HIV virus, an STI, or tuberculosis. Some people who are HIV positive also have tuberculosis. But there's hope. Tuberculosis can be cured. And yes, you can live a full life with HIV. Talk to your doctor. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB, HIV. Encourage everyone to get tested.
To end the news, the headlines again. An influx of building materials creates momentum, or new momentum I should say, in a re-roofing project in Layu. And the plan to bring in skilled workers from overseas to address a serious shortage of tradesmen. Plus, government spends $130,000 cleaning up farm access roads. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.